everyone, and welcome to a Book News Network special report on the Hans Christian Andersen Award. Tonight, our coverage will feature a biography of Hans Christian Andersen himself. Our very own Stacy Roman will be covering the criteria of the award, plus the history. Our own Jennifer D'Amico will also be covering the Authors Award aspect, and Kelly Bay will bring you reports about the Illustrators Award. We will also have a reading featuring the book from Maurice Sendak, Where the Wild Things Are, and plus a little snippet of one of the past award winners. Tonight we begin with our report of the biography of Hans Christian Andersen. Let's play a guessing game. Ready? You have to guess of the two literary works presented, which one is by famous author Hans Christian Andersen. Ready to play the game? Here we go. The Boy Who Cried Wolf, or The Little Mermaid. Which one of these two would be considered a Hans Christian Andersen literary work? Well, if you guessed The Little Mermaid, you are correct. Hans Christian Andersen, born April 2nd, 1805 in Odense, Denmark, was born to parents who were extremely poor. His father passed away when he was a very young child. Although the family was not wealthy, he was, however, educated in a boarding school. He traveled to Copenhagen in 1819 to begin work as an actor. When that didn't work out, he returned back to school shortly, urged by Jonas Collins, who helped contribute financially to his education. Hans Christian Andersen began writing, but was discouraged by his teachers. School, however, was not a good experience for Hans Christian Andersen. He was admitted to the University of Copenhagen in 1828, where his writing career would soon begin to hit its stride. He eventually would turn to playwriting, as many of his works would become unsuccessful, but gained recognition for one particular playwright in 1840 titled Mulatten. This portrays evils of slavery. Hans Christian Andersen, however, was regarded primarily as a novelist. His first book of tales included stories such as The Tinderbox, Little Claus and Big Claus, and The Princess and the Pea. Andersen began producing fairy tales in 1835. It did not attract attention for children right away. However, he continued writing for children as well as adults. Critics and consumers would overlook the current favorites such as The Little Mermaid and The Emperor's New Clothes. In 1845, English translations of his work began to gain attention for foreign audiences worldwide. Towards the end of his life, Hans Christian Andersen sustained serious injury in 1872 when he fell from his bed in Copenhagen. In that same year, his work and life was commemorated by the Danish government prior to his death. He began showing signs of liver cancer that ultimately ended his life. However, in that same year, his final publication appeared. We go now to Stacy Roman for the coverage of the history of the Hans Christian Andersen Award. Stacy?
Where we are anxiously awaiting the International Board on Books for Young People to announce this year's Hans Christian Andersen Awards recipients. Now, some of the past winners include Catherine Patterson, author of Bridge to Terabithia, and illustrator Anthony Brown. Some of the authors award was established in 1956, while the illustration award was inaugurated in 1966. This award is named after famed 19th century Danish author Hans Christian Andersen, known mostly for such fairy tales as The Little Mermaid and The Ugly Duckling. The Hans Christian Andersen Award is the highest international recognition given to an author and illustrator of children's books. It is presented to an author and illustrator whose complete works have made a lasting contribution to children's literature. The awards are presented every 2 years by the International Board on Books for Young People, and the patron of the awards is none other than Her Majesty Queen Meredith II of Denmark. Each division of the International Board on Books for Young People, also known as EB, submits and proposes a candidate. The winners are selected by an international jury. No juror may serve more than 2 consecutive terms. The jury is divided into 5 members who select the author and 5 members who select an illustrator. The works are judged on literary and artistic merit, for example, exceptional aesthetic qualities in writing and illustration. Some of the other factors for the award is how the author treats the plot, characters, style, and structure of the language, and for how the author portrays universal themes that have lasting human virtue. Each winner receives a gold medal with the bust of Hans Christian Andersen engraved upon it. For authors, this award is sometimes called the Nobel Prize in Children's Literature. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed that we're able to catch up with some of the former winners who have come to join us for the festivities. Back to you guys at the studio.
We now go to our literature corner for a reading of Maurice Sendick's Where the Wild Things Are. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew and grew and grew until his ceiling hung with his vines, and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through the night and day. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of all wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rompus start." "And now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. And then all around him, far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat, so he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws, but Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. And into the night of his very own room where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. We now turn to Kelly Bay for information on the Illustrators Award. Kelly.
The results are in. The Hans Christian Andersen Award illustrators have been announced. Can you guess which illustrator won the Hans Christian Andersen Award in 2018? Do you think that it is A or B? Let's see if you were right. The correct answer is B. Igor Olenikov is the most recent winner of this award. He is from Russia, and his illustrations include various genres ranging from reimagining folk tales to reimagining the Old Testament. These illustrations that you are seeing are from his books The Nightingale and The King with Horse's Ears. Can you guess which illustrator won the Hans Christian Andersen Award in 2016? Do you think that it is A or B? The correct answer is A. Rotat Susanne Berner won the award in 2016. She is from Germany and loves to create books with narratives that are told through pictures with whimsical details. Below we have two of her illustrations from her books, In the Town All Year Round and Night. Can you guess which illustrator won the Hans Christian Andersen Illustrator Award in 2014? Do you think that it is A or B? Let's see the answer. The correct answer is A. Roger Mello won the award in 2014. Roger is from Brazil and feels that it is important for his illustrations to invite the readers to fill gaps with their imagination. He currently has over 100 illustrations that have been published in various genres, which range from children's books to adult fiction. Can you guess which illustrator won the Hans Christian Andersen Award in 2012? Do you believe that it is A or B? The correct answer is B. Peter Seiss won the award in 2012. Peter grew up in communist Czechoslovakia. The illustrations shown here are from his book, The Wall, Growing Up Behind the Iron Curtain, which shows what life was like for a creative child to grow up in a communist country. This book won numerous awards, which included the 2008 Caldecott Honor Book and the 2008 Bank Street Best Children's Book of the Year. Can you guess which illustrator won the Hans Christian Andersen Illustrator Award in 2010? Do you think that it is A or B? Let's see. The correct answer is A. Jutta Bauer won the award in 2010. Jutta is from Germany and strongly believes that picture books are for everybody. She feels that illustrating allows her to keep a little bit of child still inside of her. She also feels that illustrating keeps her simple, authentic, and true. These illustrations shown are from her books Grandpa's Angel and Lemonade. Although the Hans Christian Andersen Award began awarding authors in 1956, they did not begin honoring illustrators until 1966, which was 10 years later. 27 different illustrators have won this prestigious award for their impactful and lasting contribution in children's literature. They are also honored for their ability to stretch children's imagination and curiosity with their illustrations.
Our very own Jennifer D'Amico has a coverage of the Authors Award. Jennifer?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer D'Amico, coming at you live from the Hans Christian Andersen Award ceremony. We are currently awaiting the news of the 2018 Hans Christian Andersen Award winner for writing. All the authors who have previously received the Hans Christian Andersen Award for writing have made huge contributions to children's literature by writing from a child's point of view and really extending their imagination. The committee really looks at all of the books in an author's collection. I can't wait to see who will join them next. Before the International Board on Books for Young People announces the winner for writing, let's take a look at some of the previous winning authors. Scott Odell of the United States is won in 1972. He most famously wrote Island of the Blue Dolphins, and as you can see, it's also a Newbery Medal winner, and he has an award of his own. He is famous for his writing on children in historical fiction and really captures a child's point of view in writing. Next up, we have Catherine Patterson, who is also from the United States. She won in 1998. One of her books is My Brigadista Year. She wrote many others, but one of her most well-known is probably Bridge to Terabithia. This is also a Newbery winner. Bridge to Terabithia was later recreated as a film, along with another one of her novels, The Great Gilly Hopkins. Both of those are very well known. Margaret Mahy of New Zealand won in 2006. This is her book, Bubble Trouble. She has written many books, and she even has a park named after her. David Almond of the UK won in 2010. He has many books out. One of them is Mouse, Bird, Snake, Wolf. And another one is The Boy Who Swam with Piranhas. Almond has many amazing books and has won many awards. He is most known for the novel Skellig, which has been translated into 40 languages and has sold over 1 million copies in the English language alone. Our most recent winner was in 2016. Chao Wenchuan from China wrote a book called Feather. This is a picture book about a feather going on a journey through wind to find what bird it came from. It's a very interesting read. I would highly recommend it. Oh, yes? Alright, this just in. Aiko Kadano has won the 2018 Hans Christian Andersen Award for writing. Kadano is a Japanese author most known for the children's fantasy novel Kiki's Delivery Service, which was later turned into a film. Her main characters are typically female and singularly self-determining and enterprising. Most of them come from the child's point of view, as many of her main characters are children themselves. Thanks for tuning in. Back to the studio.
We now turn it over to coverage of the IBI Awards with recipient Dr. Tao Wingjuan.
According to Chinese children's fiction writer Cao Wenxuan, Chinese stories must be written to talk to the entire world. Cao made remarks after receiving the 2016 award at the ongoing Bologna Children's Book Fair in Italy. He becomes the first Chinese author to ever win the Hans Christian Andersen Prize.
When
people achieve something, it is because they have a background. And my background is China, a country that has weathered through numerous police and disasters, which has provided so many special resources for so many artists. My stories are unique. They could only happen in China. But at the same time, the meanings behind them are about the entire humankind. I think that is the reason why I could win the award.
首先，这个经受了无数的苦难。
Many of Cao's novels, short stories, and picture books have been translated into different languages, including English, French, German, Japanese, and Vietnamese. Among them are The Straw House, Bronze and Sunflower, Red Tiles and Black Tiles, King Book, and Feather. So far, Cao has published over 100 works, which have been appreciated by millions of readers.
那么，可能在西方有一些作品，它既可以发生在伦敦。
In the Western world, stories in children's books may be happening in any place like in London or in Paris, but all my stories can only happen in China. I've told so many stories about China, but they also belong to the entire world.
地地道道的中国故事，但是它是全人类的故事。
Cao explained to CNC that whether a book can make its way into the world, that is to say, whether it is suitable for translation into other languages, is also a fundamental indicator of its literary value. This is why he has so fully used a specifically Chinese language, but at the same time has surged the universal portrait of life's ebbs and flows, so to make sure that the most important messages of his books do not go lost. Cao said the prize also reinforced his ample faith in the high place of Chinese literature for children in the world.
中国儿童文学最好的中国儿童文学就是世界水平的儿童文学。
Chinese children's literature is clearly powerful, and I'm sure there will be other Chinese authors who will win the Hans Christian Andersen Prize in the future.
是因为这个奖帮助我。
We'd like to thank you for watching our special coverage of the Hans Christian Andersen Award, brought to you by Kelly Bay, Jennifer D'Amico, Stacy Roman, and Matthew Bioma. We hope you enjoyed this coverage and learned a lot about the award. Good night, everyone.